Now is the time. A time you'll look back on. A time you adopt as inspiration. You will recollect this time. This moment, right now. Motivate yourself towards success. Overcome. Take over. The time is now.
Back.
Have we ever left?
Nah. Doesn't feel like it anyway.
Evening, boys. How we doing?
Evening.
All good, Pete. All good, everyone.
Good, yeah. Everyone's in good form, I would expect.
It's like we're signing players and we're the last day of the transfer window.
Bruno is a mag, yeah. There you go.
Get it.
He sure is. Do you want to start there, Martin?
What about anything in particular, or what have I been up to, or
No, Bruno is a mag. Do you want to start there, or do you want?
Bruno
to
is
tell
a
us what
mag?
you've been up to?
Yeah, well, not too much. Just pretty much watching Twitter and Sky Sports all day, as you do, getting ready for this. Yeah, look, I mean, we said last night, massive signing, great to get it confirmed. As we know, as our good friend Adam Pearson alluded to the other day, he's going to wear shirt number 39 in tribute to his dad, who's a taxi driver in Brazil. Look, can't wait to get him into that shirt, get him into that team, ready for the Everton game, hopefully, and go and get ready to get the boys all revved up and get ready to spank the Mackham Scousers when they turn up.
Sounds good. Of course, yeah, it was announced by the club earlier. Just throw up a few of the pictures that we collected along the day, and there's some great pictures now popping up on Twitter everywhere.
That's a class.
That is class.
How good do they look? How good does he look in the shirt, though?
If he's half as good as the pictures that have been created, he's going to be good. Yeah, there's some excellent ones that are popping up, and of course, don't talk about Bruno. Talk about Bruno. Bruno himself talked then, and he said, "Hi, NUFC, I'm ready for this new challenge." That's what you want to hear.
That's good. I'm hope he got permission from Dean Thompson before he talked. Cheers, Dean. Evening. Anyway,
look, it's you know what? Yeah, I've got to say, just. You know, obviously, we did a lot of talking about him the last few days, in particular last night, in a bit of detail. But, you know, just looking at the way he plays and just like his character, and obviously him putting that tweet on tonight, you just know he's gonna fucking ruffle some feathers when he gets to that training ground, and when he sees the likes of Longstaff, and when he sees the likes of one or two other players in that team, he's gonna. He just seems that type of player that he's just gonna tell them to fucking step that shit up. I do. It was one of the things that they talked about. A number of people have talked about in terms of his character, that he demands the best from everyone all the time. And in the middle of the park, Chris has talked about it for a while now. It's exactly what we fucking need in this team, no doubt.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Maybe, Rich, is it time to bring up the heat map? I know I'm going rapidly through the pictures, but it might be the right time.
It could be the right time. It could be the right time, mate. Yeah, sure. You know, I think it's pretty much. I think it, as what Pete's just said, it's pretty much telling every single person who plays in the squad, who plays in a similar position to him, you've got to live up to this. This is what you've got to put the effort you've got to put in every single game. And this is his Champions League stats from last year as well. So, you know, he's used to playing at a high level. He's going to be telling those lads, look, lads, I didn't give up Copacabana Beach to come play with Tynemouth if everyone out. You're not going to be shit, like. So, seriously, this lad is top draw. He is top draw. You know, we heard there's going to be a marquee signing. And I think a lot of people didn't think we could possibly get a marquee signing like Guimarães. You know, there was rumours he was going to elsewhere and stuff like that. So, we saw it. We put out our WhatsApp chat earlier on a couple of little cartoon that had been knocked up. I don't know whether Daz actually went and put it on. Oh, he has. And it just puts into perspective how this window has been, really. It just basically sums it up, doesn't it? Really, it just he was all rumored to be going to Arsenal and Spurs, these lot, and then they've all chosen much better options, should we say? So it's nice to have things going our way for a change, and then of course we get the cherry on the top of the news of our neighbours tonight as well. I think that just is the cherry on the top for today, wasn't it, Daz? And to have a fantastic result yesterday down at Bolton, and we saw Mr. Potter from Phoenix Knights having a good laugh last night and stuff on social media, and then Sunderland go and sack Lee Johnson. You would never think they were third in League One or anything, would you? Had a bad result yesterday, but I suppose it is what it is. You've got to take what you can when you're down the road, don't you?
Do you know what, Rich? I was really, really surprised by that. Don't get me wrong, a 6-0 defeat, it's pretty grim, isn't it? But does anyone else feel like that's a little bit of a risk? Because if they bring in a new manager, so far gone in the season, and he doesn't hit the ground running, and then they miss out on promotion yet again, is that not a risk?
Who cares?
Steve Bruce. Get him in.
Yep, bring back Bruce.
Mate,
yep.
Imagine.
I'm actually gutted that he's got sacked, because with him in charge, you can guarantee that they were going to have another year in League One again. So I was actually disappointed by the news, if I'm honest. But yeah, it's always nice to see your rivals or your ex-rivals, because they're going to be down there for a little bit longer, I think, getting spanked by Bolton 6-0. Always good to be there.
Just to add into Richie's comment, about us getting that marquee sign and going back to Bruno, isn't it refreshing, and isn't it nice that we've been linked with numerous names during this window, in terms of marquee signings, and obviously Ousmane Dembele probably being the latest one, and there was mention of Eden Hazard, or players like that, and I think Richie was spot on when he was saying that we weren't expecting to be able to get that caliber of a player, but again, it's all about the personality, isn't it? To bring in someone who's that hard working. I mean, that heat map just tells it itself, doesn't it? That hard working, right work ethic. Even like the shirt number thing with his dad and stuff. He just seems like a really good person that we're bringing in. Not just a player who's going to come in and just think, oh, do you know what? I'm probably too good for this club, but I'll just come. I'll just come in, kind of thing. I think he's going to really, put his all into being here, and I'm really excited by it. And to get someone of his quality as well as his talents is just great.
Nice one. Shall we make Adam suffer a bit longer in the green room, or do you want to bring him in? Martin, you're running this, so it's your shout.
No, I just invited people on. No, let's bring him in, because I know he's got. I think he is on some limited time, obviously, across the other side of the ocean there. So yeah, bring him in. I haven't seen him in a while.
Adam. Hey, Adam, how's it going?
All right, lads.
All right.
Good to see you all. How's everyone doing?
Good, thanks.
We're good, mate.
Brilliant.
Even better after today's new signing. Even better.
Yeah, what a day, huh? I mean, it's someone just said it a minute ago, but it is sort of the gift that keeps on giving. I don't want today to end. I want us to just keep cracking along. It's been fantastic so far.
Another 2 days to go. Well, another 1 day, really, I suppose. We've got this evening and then full day tomorrow. So let's see what it brings.
Yeah, I think
tomorrow's good to have you on. It's like
tomorrow's going to be hectic.
Bit of a time warp going back in time, isn't it? It's like all we're missing now is like Andre, Al Walid, a couple of others, and it's back to the internationals.
Yeah, it's good to get the band back together, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's about time we brought out an album. Very good.
Even though this boy band thing we've got rocking, it's doing okay.
Yeah.
Dazzy, you want me to put that reminder out about our little giveaway thing before we crack on?
Yes, Rich. And as part of that, Rich, we should welcome our new members that we've got as well. So
So to start the show off was fantastic. So we've had a number of new members join the loaded team. So welcome in Roger S.
Thank you, Roger.
Absolute top stuff. As well as that, all the way from Australia, we've got Shane Mawson.
Shane's back with us.
Good effort.
Nice one, Shane.
Massive supporter of Loaded. Always tuning in live when he can, when he's not working. So I really appreciate that. Marty, NUFC, welcome in. And we've got Geordie, Mick. So, new members to the team. Well,
cheers, guys.
Always welcome, massive welcome, and also anybody else that's watching tonight. We've got 272 currently watching. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button, click that subscribe button. If you want to join Shane, Marty, and the other boys, you know what you need to do in order to become a member. So, come and join Team Loaded.
And as was actually said, because we've got all the new members that are joining, we did put out a little tease last night. But basically, what's happened is as a thank you for all the lads from Loaded, what we're actually planning to do is we've got an exclusive member giveaway. But as we said, you have to be a member to be eligible for this offer. So if you're not already signed up, you like the content we've been putting on, and you want to contribute on a monthly basis, it's a small amount, $1.99, as Daz picked up on the page before, then join in. If you literally have until the end of this show to be eligible for this draw, because the draw is going to be made tomorrow. Daz has got to update his spinny wheel. His broadband in Ireland's not great, so it'll take him around 20 hours to actually upload it and stuff like that and edit it. So, look.
We'll do it live.
Do it live. You'll probably quickly get a hamster wheel or something, or get one of those octopuses that will select the name or something like that. It'll probably be easier for you. But no, seriously. If anyone's interested in being part of the channel as a member and be part of this exclusive member draw, then we'll put it on the screen as you do it as a big thank you, and you'll be eligible for the draw tomorrow to win a Newcastle United shirt of your choice. So it could be the home shirt, away shirt, a third shirt, your choice. It can be in any size that you want. So it could be for you, it could be for a gift. It is your choice. It's your prerogative as being the winner of the draw. So as I said, if you want to be a member, then feel free to join the channel and be part of that draw. But you only have until the end of this show to be eligible for this exclusive monthly draw.
So anyone watching back, Rich, just so for clarity for myself as well, anyone watching back won't be able to get it to be in the draw.
Well, I'll tell you what, if anyone's watching on
shut at midnight. Should we shut at midnight?
The transfer window shuts at midnight tonight for this exclusive draw.
That's fair enough.
Now, somebody's going to be watching this on playback going, did it shut on Sunday? We're not getting no more players now. Like that.
Because
we're going to get hit up for that now.
Because we're global, Richie, is it midnight UK time?
Midnight UK time, yes, I know. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm only messing with you.
Just wanted to add CFC Florida, as always.
Man, as always.
Yes, mate.
There's another one further down as well to shout out. Rachel Lilly's also joined to become a member as well, so thanks for that too, Rachel.
Nice one,
Much
Rachel.
appreciated. That's on there a bit further down, boys. Very
I'm
good. We one more in the green room, Daz, have we?
We do have one more in the green room. I don't recognize
the band is getting bigger.
It is. We nearly have the loudest side. Here he is. Hey,
Dave.
And of course, Nate isn't a member, so he'll be in the draw.
He'll be in the draw.
It'll be a fix if I win it, though, right?
I was just going to say that's going to suspect that John N comes out. So there you go. All the old boys are back. For anybody that didn't watch, I suppose, NUFC Matters when we all first started. Obviously, Adam and Nate were part of the first kind of original international shows that we did with Steve Wraith. We've all remained good mates and kept in touch. Adam has been on a couple of the shows. Nathan's been in and out of shows. So it's nice as we're getting into this transfer window where Newcastle are finally having a nice transfer window, and we've signed players to be able to bring the boys back on. Adam to give his view from obviously stateside, living across in the US, and Nathan for living in a strange place as well, down in Burnley. So it's nice to have on. So welcome back, boys. Good to have you and good to see you.
It's great to be back.
Thanks for joining in.
Yeah, pleasure to be
Right,
here.
boys, will we crash on?
I got on then.
Let's do that. where will we go next? Let's look. We'll revert back to Bruno later in the show, and we'll get the lads to give their opinion on Bruno. Maybe because we talked a bit about him already, we'll move on slightly. Let's go talk about Dan Burn. So, Rich, I'm going to go to what you flagged to me in a tweet from earlier. Talk us through this.
Yeah, it was just posted on. Obviously, Fab Romano is, tends to be the go-to guy for stories during the transfer window. And obviously, he put this on. I think it was about 5:30. It was put on, saying that the paperwork between Newcastle and Brighton had been done for up to 15 million feet agreed, and that was going to be joining Newcastle in the coming hours. Apparently, personal terms have already been agreed to as well. And hopefully it could even be announced tonight. So you have a go. No, we had the Guimarães news break when we were live on the show the other night. So fingers crossed. There's another breaking news story with Dan Burn or anybody else that we might not be under the radar on the show tonight as well.
Exactly, and we're ready for him. Just
It's all
win. So yeah, I suppose let's talk a bit about Dan Burn. So who would like to go first? How about Nathan? We'll go with you first. What's your thoughts on Dan Burn?
No, yeah, it's exciting. It's a signing that's kind of surprised a few people. I think we were all probably agreed that it's maybe not our first choice centre back, but when you look at the team as it is currently, you can look across that team and you could pick up any player from a lot of the teams in and around us, and you'd improve our squad. So for me, it's a really good addition. It's taken away from a club that is also in the same division as us, as the signing of Chris Wood did. Granted, Brighton aren't sort of down in the danger area, but again, like we're still taking from people that we're competing against. So that's a positive as well. I think everyone's seen like the little clips of videos of him like with Aguero and stuff, and when he was kind of like bringing the ball down from a long ball and just playing it out calmly and composed. I think that's what we've been lacking in defence. Really, is some calm and composure. We've looked like conceding at any point. We've dropped so many points from games this season. I think it was like 20-something points from winning positions we've thrown away this season. And when you look at where we are in the league, look at the difference that would make to where we are. So I think, I think one centre half is great. I think two would be fantastic if we could do that. I'm not sure what it means for how it's going to be felt in the dressing room. I think it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of changes in that team over the next, over this window and also like in the coming windows as well. So I'm just hoping that because I think if we signed another centre half tomorrow, I think that you'd be looking at Lascelles not playing again, right? I would assume so. I would assume so. So then you kind of think, how does that go down in the dressing room? Could that cause further problems and that kind of thing? So I'm a bit cautious on that front, but obviously I would prefer two new centre halves in moving forward. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that plays out.
Cool. Cheers, Nate. Adam, we'll go to you next and your thoughts on Dan Burn.
Yeah, as usual, Nathan's taken most of my points. It feels very reminiscent of the last couple of years. But I think there are a couple of key points. First and foremost, I think it's been clear that Eddie Howe wants to play out of the back. That's why Fabian Schär has been such a prominent member of the team since Eddie came in. The nice thing about Dan Burn is he checks a couple of boxes in terms of his physical strength and ability, obviously being so much taller than everybody else on the pitch. But he's well known for being able to dribble the ball out and sort of start linking up play, which is a piece of the puzzle for Eddie Howe that hasn't quite meshed just yet, is how do we transition play and how do we move the ball through the zones quicker? And I think Dan Burn gives you that, certainly more than the players that he has in that role right now, if you're looking at left-sided central defenders. I think it also adds a bit of versatility, right? We've needed another left-footed defender that we can rely on. I think beyond Paul Dummett and Jamal Lewis, we probably don't have another player in that role. It takes the pressure away, frankly, from having to play Kieran Clark, who I hope to never see play another Premiership game for Newcastle, which is where we are. So I think it checks a lot of boxes. Now, is it the centre back that we all wanted 3 weeks ago? Probably not. My guess is that he was maybe further down the list than we'll ever know at this point, right? He was probably 4th or 5th or 6th choice as the main central defender purchase. But it gives a lot of flexibility, right? So you can now play 3 at the back if you want to, with Dan Burn alongside Lascelles or Lascelles, or Fernandez and Shaw. It gives you the ability to do that the same way that Dummett does when he's fit. But he can also slot in at left back. He can slot in, obviously, at central defence. So I think it was a smart signing, 13, 14 million pound, whatever it ends up being. It's not going to break the bank in terms of, FFP over the next. I'm guessing he'll sign a 2 or a 3 year contract. So that's only, 3 or 4 million quid off the FFP limit. So, yeah, really smart signing. I would love to think that there's another surprise tomorrow for a centre back. But given how late it is and travelling across countries and so on, my guess is the defensive reinforcements are probably done now in terms of the centre backs. But yeah, I mean, it's a classic story, right? Centre back goes home, lad from Newcastle. I'm wondering, just because I'm not a local, and I'll probably get some pelters for this, but if he wasn't a Newcastle lad, would we be as excited as we are? I did a poll yesterday on Twitter just for fun of which defender you would rather have, Lloyd Kelly from Bournemouth, another left-footed centre-back, or Dan Burn. And Dan Burn got like 75% of the vote, 600 votes or so. I was just surprised it was that high. And I just made the point that, if neither of them were from Newcastle, would that sway your vote a little bit? Lloyd Kelly is also, I think, 5 or 6 years younger than Dan Burn. Less Premier League experience, of course. So, it's a good signing either way. It checks a lot of boxes for what Eddie Howe's trying to do this year, and it won't sort of blow up the squad in terms of going into next season and the one after that. Nathan made a really good point about Lascelles. Having the captain be the most likely to be dropped might cause some ripples. But at the end of the day, all that matters is staying in the Premier League. It doesn't matter who's the captain, who's the number 9, who's the number 7. At this point, none of that stuff matters. What matters is staying in the league, and Dan Burn increases our chances of doing that.
Exactly, Adam. Absolutely. Anything that helps us, we'll take. For me, that's a lot of the lads comment as well, but for me, yeah, happy that Dan Burn is in, because I saw the fee was something like 11 plus 2 for probably staying in the league. So yeah, it's not a bad fee. He wouldn't excite me that much, but I would rather the Lloyd Kelly option from what I've heard. And he's 29 as well. Yeah, perfect. He's slot straight in and he'll do a job. He'd be solid. So that's what we need where we are now. We can't, and we kind of looks like at the moment that a lot of our players that we tried to get in, it didn't really work out at the moment. But yeah, so I'm happy with it, but not overly excited either. That's what I'm saying. Thoughts, lads? I know you've commented it already as well. But...
I had the. Sorry, go on, Mark.
No, go on, mate. Go on, Chris. No, go on.
No, I was going to say I had a bit of an argument with one of my mates, an Everton fan, by the way, and he was like basically he was basically mocking the signing, and I do you know what? I know it's not the most exciting of signings, but when you actually look at it, if you take a step back and look at it, we're signing a 6'7" Premier League experienced local lad. And I know people will say, it doesn't matter if he's local or not, but in terms of settling into the area, that's not going to be an issue. He's a left-footed centre-back, as we all know, and he can also play left-back. So for me, I look at that and I think you're getting that for what, as Daz said then, under 15 million. And the key question as well is he an improvement on what we've got at the moment? And he absolutely is. So, all right, he's not, a Carlos or a Botman or something like that, but you need to build a squad, lads. And he's gonna come in, be comfortable in his surroundings, knows the league well, and he, as well. And I mentioned the fact he's 6'7" because when you've got a player like that, whether it's in your box or the opposing box, he's always going to worry defenders and the goalie. So I think it's a really shrewd move. I really do. As Daz said, it's not particularly, over exciting, but again, it's improving the squad as a whole. And even if in time to come we get, a better caliber of player or whatever. To have someone like him at our disposal is great. I mean, if you're talking about moving out the likes of Kieran Clark and bringing in Dan Burn, it's a massive upgrade. So for me, I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, we chatted on this last night for a bit. The whole thing being from the northeast, I don't even take that into question with the player. For me, I think we've got a left-footed centre back. We've added height to the defence. I think if you look at what the club are doing, the interesting thing for me is I think they're purchasing players for the here and now, but also for the future.
Yeah.
So Dan Burn, Guimarães for me is future, build a team around. Fantastic player, pay the money. He's someone that you build the team around. Dan Burn for me is somebody that is 2 seasons, maybe max, the here and now. If we go down, he gets us, it plays a good part in the championship. We stay up, he gives you another half a season or more to get through into next season. Good squad player, as you say, local lad, but you can then build on that. So I think it's the signings are interesting. I think he's good. Look, and we know ourselves, getting a hold of a left-footed centre-back is not easy. They're fairly scarce around. So I think it's good business from the club. I think the other good thing in all that we've seen come in through the window so far, the most impressive thing for me is, even you look at the Bruno thing, no relegation clauses in any of them. So, there's big bonuses there for avoiding relegation, but God forbid worst thing happens, they're all there. They're all playing in a championship season. Should the worst happen, even Bruno. So, and I think that's clever work as well, to be fair, because it shows that they're committed to the cause. So, yeah, but I'm happy enough. Richie, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. I think, if you take out the Guimarães deal, obviously we know that one's going to be, that's the marquee side, and that's also for the future as well as the now. But if you look at the 3 other signings, if you'd have said at the end of the window that for roughly 50 million, you'd have Trippier, Chris Wood, and Dan Burn, 3 experienced Premier League footballers. 2 of them are internationals as well. For 50 million at our club this summer, everybody would have snapped their hands off it. That's a way to look at it. Some people might be thinking, it doesn't set the world, but it's like Mark said, it's for the here and now as well. We'll still get 18 months, 2.5 years out with these guys. Do you know what I mean? And they're filling a need that we've got in this squad now. There's some, we've looked how many times over when we've done match day lives, all of us, or we've had chats on preview shows, and we've probably said there's 2, 3 tops really in that squad who you could probably see being part of this process and project going forward. So, we've got 4 in now. Hopefully there's going to be, another 2, 3. We don't know how many more could come in before the end of the window, but we've been screaming out for transfer windows like this for the last 14 years. And as I said, if anybody had said that we'd have had those 3, Premier League experienced players for 50 million, you'd have snapped your hands off and said 90 million we've spent roughly this window. It's more than Mike Ashley spent pretty much in the whole of his 14 years at the club. Do you know what I mean? We've done it in one window, and we're not necessarily stopped there either. So I think it's a fantastic deal for Burn in particular, because, as we said the other day, you could fork out and be bent over backwards by a club trying to extort money out of you, like Sevilla and Lille have done with Botman and Carlos. To be fair to Brighton, they could have done exactly the same with Dan Burn, but they haven't. To be fair, they've been pretty realistic with what the fee is, with 18 months on his contract there. So to get him for 11 plus 2, if that's what the rumoured contract is, it's a slip for a Premier League left-footed, 6'7" centre-half, who's a Geordie, he will do everything for that shirt when he's on the pitch at St James or wherever he is. He will do absolutely everything. So I think it's an absolute snip of a deal.
Cool. Pete, do you want to comment on Dan Burn, or do you want to take my next question?
I'll do both.
You told us.
Yeah. Dan Burn, I couldn't give a shit about the transfer fee, if I'm honest. I don't care if they pay 15 or 20 million for him. He's what we need right now. And the thing that I think a lot of people are forgetting is actually the fact that if you spoke to any Brighton fans and you saw the Brighton fans' reaction to him going, they're actually really disappointed, because at the time in which we're buying him, he's actually playing his best football. He's actually considered their best defender at the club right now, and at the way in which he's playing is one of the best defenders currently playing in the Premier League. That on its own is the reason why we're signing Dan Burn. The extra is about, the fee, the extra is about him being a Geordie. They're just bonuses. But actually what he gives you height. He gives you the ability to play out from the back, because he's significantly better than the likes of Kieran Clark, for example, who's just not good enough. He's good in the air. And what I'm starting to see, although it's not always coming to fruition at the moment, but I'm starting to see it a little bit more, is that we're starting to work on our set pieces a lot more in attacking areas, corners, free kicks. The way in which we're playing the ball is to get players up, to get players in the box, to cause havoc. We can already see from Dan Burn at Brighton, the goal against Everton, for example, a really well worked corner, a little flick on at the front post. He arrives at the back post, nods it in. He can add to that. So then when we're going up for corners, depending on whether he starts, you've got Jamal Lascelles, who does get a goal from set pieces. He is good regardless of what you think of him. You've got Chris Wood, who will get goals and he causes havoc in there. But now you're throwing Dan Burn in there as well. And what you're doing is you're adding height, and you're adding an extra dimension to your game in which we could still nick goals from, that could potentially win us games. We saw what a set piece did for us against Leeds at Ellen Road. It's these type of things that we're building for. We don't need him for the next 4 or 5 years. I couldn't care less if we kept him for 6 months and then didn't use him again. As long as we stay in the Premier League, that's all that matters.
Cool. Okay, so my next question then, and we'll start with you, Pete, since you volunteered, is there are now 26 hours left before the transfer window closes. Considering the next 17 games, you can bring in one player, and one player only from what's been talked about. Who is that one player that's going to come in for you?
Oh dear.
Do you want to think about it?
No. I'm going to name this player, but I think we've got some news on him that's already pissed me off tonight slightly, and it would be Darwin Núñez. So if I was to bring anybody in, it would be someone like him. Yes, we need a centre back, but I was a striker by trade playing football. I love strikers. I love the fact that strikers score goals. Goals win games. Goals will keep us in the league. He will score his goals. He's a tremendous talent. So if it was anyone that I would like to bring in, it would be him, followed closely by Duvan Zapata. And I'm a little bit pissed off tonight because it looks like West Ham have put a bid in for Darwin Núñez. So we'll see how that one kind of transpires.
Pete, do you think the fact that West Ham have put an offer in, let's say it gets accepted, do you think that'll then make us go, right, we want this, lads, we're going to have to go and get him?
I hope so. But as we were talking on it off air, I mentioned the point is that, with the Dan Burn deal going through, I think it takes us to around 90-ish million that we've spent in this window. Now, the reason why I don't think we'll go in for Darwin Núñez is because if we're going to be paying the 50, 60 million euros that they're probably going to, and rightly going to ask for him, a large chunk of that is going to need to be paid up front, a little bit like the Guimarães deal. So if we do that, that's going to take us probably to about 3/4 of that 200 million that we were keeping aside for spending on players. And I don't think the owners are going to be prepared to do that personally. Whereas if you look at the links tonight, and the links have been out, that there's sort of like a 43 million euro deal with Duvan Zapata apparently on the table, but it starts with an 8 million loan for the rest of the season. Then you pay the rest of the money in the summer. For me, I think the owners are going to look to go for that deal because it means that their expenditure isn't as significant right now. In the summer, if we stay in the Premier League and we get that 120, 130 million that we have to stay in the Premier League, it's perfect. Like it's a dream scenario for the owners because they've got then a load of more money, and that's not even including sponsorship deals. because they're going to come in too in the summer. We've got all that extra money to come in so we can go big on a striker. So I don't think it will happen. I think Zapata will probably be a more likely deal. But I'd be gutted if he goes to West Ham because, as I said to you guys before we went on air, West Ham don't have their own scouting network. They are dreadful at actually doing their own scouting business. All they do is just copy and follow other teams. So they would have seen we've been linked with Darwin Núñez, and they've just gone and said, right, yeah, we'll sign him. And that's what pisses me off about him.
Good answer, though, Pete. Very good answer. I'm going to go to Adam next. So, Adam, same question. 26. Well, yeah, still 26 hours left. Who are you bringing in?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because in some ways, you want to say we should go get the sort of marquee centre back that they've been chasing. And I know disrespect to Dan Burn, but I don't think he was, as I said earlier, he wasn't number 1 or number 2 on the list. We know that for sure. We know who those players were. It was Botman and Carlos, obviously. A striker that could hit the ground running and start scoring in the next game against Everton is highly attractive. I'm also a big fan of Darwin Núñez. I did see the link to West Ham. I actually just tweeted about it like an hour ago, how disappointed I would be if we lose out to West Ham for either Núñez or Ekitike. I know they've been linked with him as well. I love having a young striker to sort of watch develop over the next couple of seasons. But I think just to be different from what Pete said, I'll go with a centre back. I think that if you get Bruno in, or now that Bruno is in, with Callum Wilson is still an option up front, it would be great to have a sort of generational type central defender like Sven Botman, 22 years old, 23 years old, I forget exactly, but he's the kind of guy that you sign now and he becomes your Vincent Kompany 10 years from now. That would be a really, really nice way to position the club for the next 5 to 7 to 10 years. The other point I'll make is, when it comes to the financial side of it, I think Lille did have a number for Botman. I don't know what it was, but it sounds to me like they did have a number for this window specifically if a club wanted to buy Sven Botman. It obviously scared away AC Milan, and I think Newcastle were in the position where they didn't want to set a really ugly precedent for every window going forward, this sort of Newcastle taxation issue that we've been talking about or we've been hearing about. The same will go for Núñez. So if West Ham end up signing Darwin Núñez and it's whatever, 45 or 50 million, it sort of detracts from the narrative that we've been hearing that Newcastle are getting taxed for being so wealthy. So that won't look great for the new owners. That's not a negative towards the new owners. I'm just making the point that it will sort of change the narrative around this idea that we're having to pay extra. If someone goes and buys one of the targets that we've been linked with for the kind of money that we were hearing about, then it hurts that narrative. I would love to have Sven Botman in. I've seen him play a little bit. I've obviously watched the highlights that we've all been watching over the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's a really fantastic young centre-back, and I think he would help shape the future of Newcastle, like I said, for the next 10 years. And one day he'd end up being effectively our Vincent Kompany. So if we could sneak in one big one before the end of the window, I would love it to be Sven Botman. And the price tag, just last point, the price tag doesn't bother me. If it's 40 or 50 million pounds, doesn't matter, because you're going to sign someone like Sven Botman. Unlike Zapata, you'd be signing someone like Botman to a 5 or a 6 year contract. So you take that 50 million and you amortize it over the length of the contract, and it only hurts FFP to the tune of like 10 or 12 million. So I think that would make a lot of sense. The problem with making someone who's in their late 20s or early 30s your marquee signing is that FFP hit is much, much bigger. You guys had Kieran Maguire on a few weeks ago who did a fantastic job of explaining how those contracts work. And we're all going to have to learn an awful lot about FFP, I think, over the next few years. So, the Botman signing at 22 years old on a 5-year contract, you spread that fee over 5 years and it doesn't hurt you that much. So that would be the perfect one for me.
Great link in there, Adam, as well, because we have Kieran back with us again next Tuesday. So
Tuesday night,
Tuesday night.
We do.
So, we're looking forward to that, because anyone we do sign, and we know the length of contracts, and hopefully can explain all the more to us. So that's Adam's choice, Sven Botman. With everybody, we've got 465 people watching us live. it would be rude of me if I didn't ask them to hit that subscribe button and get us closer to 3K. At this stage, everyone's sick of hearing me say that. It's a red button down the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Hit that button. It'll help us out. I think I'm going to pick on Nate next. And Nate, for your answer, you're not allowed to pick Troy Deeney. Just rule him out.
Do you know what? I saw some people saying actually at the start of the window, they were saying, I wonder if we could have a little look at Troy Deeney and see if he comes just to sit on the bench and come on in the last 5 minutes. But no, I won't pick him.
Your Troy Deeney's like my Jack Wilshere, so it's just never going to happen, mate.
I'm just pleased that those days are behind us. I think like last time I sat with all of you guys together and with Adam as well. That's where we were shopping, wasn't it? But those days are behind us now. So yeah, it's good news. I think for my choice, I do like the look of Zapata. I think another forward would be great. However, I do think that I'm inclined to agree with Adam. I was going to say I'd go all out for Sven Botman. If we were looking at that kind of money for Bruno, I think that kind of money would get Sven Botman out of Lille for us. And like you said, and like Adam said, that spread over the cost of that spread over 10 years. If he could play the rest of his career with us, he could retire with us and win. Hopefully win leagues and Champions Leagues and stuff with us. So I think for me, that's where I'd go for. And the reason I say that is because as much as another forward would be great, I feel that the addition of Bruno to the team I think that'll help unlock a lot of those forward players in the way that they move forward. I think it'll get the best out of Wilson knocking balls in behind. Hopefully Maxi can play a bit further up. He won't be getting the ball with the full back four in front of him. He can get in behind. And Fraser down the other side as well. I think he's been working really hard lately. So those three, potentially getting on the end of the range of Bruno's passing is fantastic. So I think he could get the best out of those three. And as your brother was saying, Pete, yesterday, it was really good to listen to that show yesterday. It was a top show. Your brother was saying that he levels up everyone that's playing around him. And I think hopefully that'll be the case with our forward line. I don't think our forwards will be used to sort of running in behind and making those runs because they've never expected a pass from Longstaff and Hayden and Shelby, have they, over the years? So we'll have to see how that works out. But hopefully you'd level them up. And yeah, I'd go for all out for Sven Botman. I've got a lot of friends as well, actually, in Holland who. And they really rate him. They rate him not far behind De Ligt in terms of prospects for the future. I've asked them all about him, and they really rate him. So yeah, I think that's what I'd go for.
Nice one, Nate. We should get you to keep talking, Nate, because there's breaking news happening all left, right, centre when you're going through.
I know. That's an interesting one, that isn't it?
Does Pete want to change his mind now when he's on his suggestion?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah. Sanchez to Milan is off. Personal terms could not be sorted. So that deal is off.
Oh, it's off.
Yeah, it's off.
Yeah, it's off.
I was wondering why you were disappointed.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? I can't say what's on there. You can't read it. What the hell is going on tonight?
I missed it off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's off. Personal. Yeah, so fee was agreed. Player was in Milan. Medical and everything sorted, but they couldn't agree financial terms. So that deal is off.
Hey, let's get it done. Let's fucking get that done. You know how I feel about
yeah.
So someone.
Sorry, I was just going to say, is that going to have an impact possibly on Botman? Because if Lille think they're getting money for him and they're not,
it could do.
Step forward.
So don't do this to me. Don't do it to me. Look, I said I wanted a striker, but look, if we're going to get any type of defensive player, I'm with Nath right there. Right? Sven Botman's the man. He's the man. He'll be the best. He'll be the best centre back in Europe in a few years' time. No,
someone made this point on the chat, and I forget who it was, so I apologize. But someone made the point that clearly Lille are willing sellers. I mean, if they agreed a fee for Sanchez, then they are willing sellers. There is a price out there that can get you Sven Botman tomorrow. I don't know what it is, and maybe it's higher than it was 2 weeks ago. but Newcastle put an awful lot of time and effort early in the window to try and get that transfer done. If it's, I don't care. It's not my money. Let's spend it. Yeah, there you go. There's the comment. It's not my money. Let's spend it. If we can get Sven Botman for £40 million, £45 million, let's do it. It would, like I said, it would be a generational type signing, and it would almost. I wouldn't guarantee it because I'm not a gambler, nor do I guarantee things. But he is the kind of signing that makes you think that staying up would almost be a certainty, a bit like the Bruno signing. So if it's out there, if it can be done, let's do it.
It could potentially be a masterstroke by the ownership if that's what happens, where they've proved that they weren't going to be bent over and have the the eyes pulled out at the start of the window and stuff like that. But if it gets to the stage now where they've waited until the end of the window, and we've seen how desperate Lille are for cash, and obviously they're prepared to sell Sanchez, and that falls through. It could be them that's twitching tomorrow. When if we go back in with a 35, 40 million pound bid or something for him, there's a good chance it's going to be accepted. So it could be an absolute masterstroke by the ownership, to be honest.
Does anyone know how much AC Milan were going to pay for Renato Sanches? If any guys on the panel know, or anyone in the chat, put it on there, because that might give you an indication.
I think it was 25 million, Pete.
Yeah, I was going to just shout. I thought it was around 23. So
that's a steal. So if
you take a bit, is he like Mark Byers just put up a good one there? Is he the same one that was at Swansea that was shite?
Yes.
But he was what? He was 19 when he went.
Very young. Yeah.
Like he even admitted he went on loan far too early in his career. He should never have gone at that age, and he wasn't ready for playing football in a new country. You could tell he had the ability, but he just didn't settle. For me personally, I think he was at the wrong club. If he'd have gone to another club, I think he'd have had a better stint there. But it's an interesting one because they sold Akone to Fiorentina in the window as well for like 13 million euros, which is ridiculous because of how good he is. And then they were willing to let go the other side of that attacking line to go to AC Milan. So if they're willing to let them go because they've got a Champions League game, why would they not want to get rid of Botman?
For the most money too. I mean, he's the one that would go for that. And Jonathan David is out there as well. They're still talking about Jonathan David as a potential mover this window, even though I think he's playing right now in the Canada-US game. But yeah, there's action out of Lille tomorrow. I'm calling it right now.
It's on Pete. It's on Twitter saying that Get French Football News was saying that the AC Milan deal was 25 million euros plus bonuses.
So I reckon you're probably looking at 30 million, 35.
Pretty much, yeah.
With the add-ons, because I think he's still like 24 years old.
Yeah, he's only.
He was like he's been playing for 10 years and he's only 24 still. But interesting, very very interesting.
Here's another one for you, Pete, because I know you love stats. So Bruno Guimarães' sale from Lyon to Newcastle is the most expensive January sale in League One history. However, he remains Newcastle's second most expensive Brazilian ever.
Not with add-ons though. Not with add-ons. With the add-ons, it takes him above Joe Linton.
Does it?
By about $1 million. Okay. So when the add-ons are all in place,
I just nabbed that from
if they get the add-ons though, Pete. If they get the add-ons.
Weren't the add-ons if they stay in the
do.
No, it's split over different stages of his contract. So there's so much if we stay up, and then there's so much depending on how far we progress over the next few seasons.
So Amanda loves those add-ons. She's always building in these little nuggets into it. We'll move on. We'll go to stick with the same question. Chris, we'll go to you, and we might even put on some music while you're answering your question. Yes. Go.
I don't know what the question is.
Stop the music.
Every night.
One job,
randomly.
Okay, the question is.
He's doing a Kamara again, isn't he?
Yeah, I know. Has there been a goal, Jeff? Hang on a minute.
There's been a question. What?
Every time it happens, we need to get that Kamara vid on where he just goes.
Yeah.
Daddy used to have it, didn't you?
I used to have it, but I was looking for it. Well gone.
This is turning out to be every show this week so far. Chris has been like, what?
Yeah, we're going to go live in a few minutes, Chris, and we're going to ask you this question when we're live, okay? So just think about it now. There's still 26 hours left in the transfer window. You can bring in one player. With 17 games to go, you can bring in one player. Who is that player you're going to bring in tomorrow?
Okay, yeah. Sorry. Do you know what? I was just in my own little world. I was doing the comments, and I'm enjoying listening to everyone's thoughts. But no, it's a really well, I say it's a really easy one. It is and it isn't. Like me main I can't stop hearing that music. The main.
It's only in your head, mate. Carry on. None of us can hear it.
No music. We can't hear any music.
Because there's no music on the road, Chris. What are you talking about?
The main one I'd be after is Sven Botman, just because like the lads have said, you know, I can't really add to what's already been said about him because I'd really be going all in for him. But I do want to add what Pete said. I absolutely agree that, you know, we could really do with a striker, and I think. I'm just looking at Pete. I'm just no. So I think my top target would be Sven Botman. If you offered me anybody now, I'd say Sven Botman. But like Pete, I do think we do need another striker. I really do. I think if we just go in with Chris Wood and obviously wait for Callum Wilson to come back, it doesn't fill me with that much confidence. So I would like to see a striker come in. And if you're going to push me on a striker, I would probably say a loan. Well, if we couldn't get Darwin Núñez permanently, I'd probably say a loan deal for Duvan Zapata. That'd certainly be what I'd be looking at.
Cool. Cheers, Chris. I'm laughing at Jordy too for life's comment as well.
I haven't got all the way down to that yet. I'm looking forward.
I'll put it on the screen for you, Chris.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm so focused on doing the comments. Yeah,
Nate, Adam, do either of you two want to take his spot permanently? Because it's getting beyond the joke now.
I've got a question. I've got a question I'd like to ask about while we're on the topic, not to derail the whole show. And I'm particularly curious about Pete's opinion on this. Do you think Eddie Howe wants to play both Wilson and Wood? Do you think that's why they went for Chris Wood, because of his profile up against Wilson? Or do you just genuinely think, as people said, that he was like the most readily available player at the time? So I'm just curious whether that was a lot of, you think they thought a lot about the profile of Chris Wood, or did they just get him because he was available?
No, weak and Burnley.
Two reasons. One, because we needed a striker for that game. We literally signed a striker for 25 million because he was available. He was ready and available for that game against Watford. And the second reason is to have an alternative. I've got no doubt that if we get another striker tomorrow and Callum Wilson comes back in, that Chris Wood will be sitting on the bench and he'll be brought on purely as an impact player. He has the ability, and this is where we need to get used to this, because we've actually got a manager that's tactically aware. So there will be games where I think he will play alongside Wilson and another striker, hopefully another striker if we get one in certain games. But I don't know if he'll start that way. I think it will be as games go on. If we're searching for a goal, I think he'll go, maybe even 4-4-2. He did that against Brentford when we were losing 3-2. He switched it around, went 4-4-2, and it worked really well. So I think, having a manager that's tactically aware, he needs players that can fit certain formations. And I think that's what Wood is not brought as a mainstay striker. Like, he's not going to be the focal point. He's not going to start every game. It's just not going to happen. And I think Wood knows that, which is why he's come to Newcastle and been paid handsomely for the fact that he knows that's the case. But he's going to be an impact player when we're lumping balls into the box. You've got Guimarães, you've got Trippier, you've got Shelvey, you've got delivery from all over the place. You're going to want him in there. A little bit like, and I said this at the time when we signed him, it reminds me a little bit like when Man City went out and got Edin Dzeko. I mean, he's not on Edin Dzeko's level, but Edin Dzeko became that player that when games with Aguero wasn't working out, what they would do, like for example, the QPR game where they ended up winning the league, is that they brought Dzeko on just to ruffle feathers, to be a focal point, and then with that, he can have an impact on the game. And I think that's purely what he's been brought in for.
I think Eddie Howe played a 4-4-2, didn't he, for a lot of his time at Bournemouth as well. I'm not suggesting. I think what we've got available to us dictates how we play at the moment, being that we've only got one fit sort of Premier League striker at the moment. But there's definitely potential there to move. I think that's what he liked to play at Bournemouth. I think there's potential to move into that.
Yeah, I think the thing, if you anybody that watched the show that we had with Sean Casey, who's back on with us tomorrow night, by the way, one of the things we talked about when the club were looking at players, you do have this scouting piece that runs through, but what we were talking about on the show that we had back then was a lot of this stuff now for players is done through analysts, and that was one of the things that Sean was discussing with us. So the club go, I'm looking for a left-sided, left-footed central defender, X-tall, must be within this bracket. So the analysts go out, create a list, and they hand that to the club. The club then whittle that down and go, right, here's who we're going to go after. So, back on those lists, and Sean might cover some of this off tomorrow night. The likes of Chris Wood was on a list that was handed to the club. He may not have been first or second choice on that list striker-wise, but he was profiled by the club, as was Guimarães, as was Dan Burn, and a few others. So it's really then, once those lists come in, the club then are handed that from the analysts. So the club just go, I'm looking for a striker, must be X. Analysts put all that together. They look at the components for the club, be it temperament, willing to move, all these other things, and hand that back to the club scouting team and to the management and go, right, there's your 4 or 5 players. So that's how the kind of that first stage of everything works. So Wood, one of the things we did talk about, Wood was on a list that was given to the club that was profiled for strikers as to what they wanted. Again, he might be in for now, but I think again one of the things we said last night was some of the players that are coming in. The likes of Wood, whether he goes with a 3 at the back, whether he goes with a 4, whether he goes with wing backs. The thing of bringing some of these players in and building up the squads is it's going to allow Eddie Howe to tactically change formation and change in and out of formations without making substitutions, which if you look at what we had prior, we always had to take 1 or 2 off to change up. So I think it's very clever the way that they're bringing players in to be able to play 2 up front, 1 off a striker, a 10 off a front man. So I think it's interesting what they're doing, but that's kind of how Wood's name came into the frame a few weeks back.
Okay, I'm going to go with the same question, but I'm going to change it around for Mark, Rich, and myself. I think you haven't answered. Does anyone else have an option other than Sven Botman as they would pick to bring in tomorrow?
I think, to be fair, I'll be honest, I'll straight away, and Pete will back us up on this. We were Darwin Núñez fans from the start of the window, and the same as Sven Botman, but everyone else has covered it. I think they were our 2, number 1 and number 2 targets for the positions. I think the other one of who we've been linked with so far, and bear in mind, obviously, that there is a little bit of a cost to it, and it's looking more like, I think the Lingard one's a really good one. I think it's just that we've got, he's good for his movement in and around the box, create stuff. If you've got someone like Guimarães putting the ball forward into some of his runs in the channels and stuff like that, and we know he can finish as well. He had a fantastic second half of the season at West Ham. Scored a good goal against us at Old Trafford this year as well. So I don't know. I think the Lingard one could be a fantastic signing, if I'm honest, and hopefully he has a good second half of the season. And we can possibly encourage him to stay on next season and sign a permanent deal where he becomes a free agent in the summer.
No, good shout, Richie. And the other thing is the main man had sent out a tweet earlier on. JC, Jordan Cronin, and it's pretty hard to read this one, but JC Lingard has apparently spoken to Dan Burn about the defender's potential move to NUFC. The pair played at Birmingham together. Just maybe they might link up again on Tyneside. Still lots of work to do on both deals. Burn obviously a lot more likely than Lingard. So it is one to watch out for tomorrow, and it does look like or sound like that loan fee is decreasing. And my own feelings are that Man United don't want to give us Anthony. They really don't. And didn't Donny go to Everton as well? And
yeah, he's got Everton.
I wonder was the the same fee quote? I know there's probably the Lampard
no
connection
fee,
as well.
no fee for Van de Beek to
No
Everton.
fee.
Just paying the wages.
Yeah, and I know Martial was always kind of wanted to go to Sevilla, anyway, but
no fee
let's
to
see.
Sevilla either.
But yeah, plenty of fee to Newcastle. But yeah, let's see how that one plays out tomorrow. Martin, did you have anyone else that you wanted to bring in other than the players we discussed? And don't say Jack Wilshere.
Other than Jack Wilshere. I think it's a funny one. I think we definitely need another striker, but I think the funny thing is if you get Lingard in and you kind of had him buzzing around that front with the through balls and the play that hopefully you think Guimarães is going to bring, do you necessarily need another striker? Maybe you don't.
That's the thing.
So I think there's a little bit of, if you think, pardon the pun, outside of the box, I think Lingard gets you better movement and goals. And I can imagine him linking quite well with a Chris Wood or with a Wilson. So I'm not 100% sure. I think striker-wise, yeah, I'm like Pete. If it was a striker, then I would have been all over Darwin Núñez. I think it would be awesome for us. But I think if I had one player to bring in, I think it does need to be another defender. I'm not so sure we get Botman unless it goes crazy, and I've been saying that for a while. So I think I would be chasing somebody like O'Connor Cody, just to bring in a bit more Premier experience. I know we'd probably have to pay. Would Wolves give him up? Maybe not. I'm hearing, certainly from what I've seen on tweets, that he'd be happy to make the move. And again, he's got 18 months left on his deal, I think, on contract. So it's possibly one that could happen. And he gives that stability in that back with obviously masses of Premier League experience. So yeah, Darwin Núñez would be my ultimate. And if we're chasing a defender, then I'd like to see someone like Conor Cody.
Nice one. I'm going to ask a question now, just to the guests. Do you feel like you need some meditation? Maybe we could go to our meditation marquee.
I'm not doing it.
You're not doing it? Oh,
no,
come on.
No, let's keep going. We've got lots of transfers. I'll do it tomorrow night when the window's over. Because people probably need to sleep by then. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you have to come on and watch that. It's quality stuff. Okay, let us go.
It's not quality stuff. That was just me messing with the microphone after about 4 minutes yesterday.
It was fucking funny though.
It was. Anyone wants to talk about in regards to incomings? Because I do want to talk about potential outgoings as well. And you remember I set the guys that were left last night, I set to them the challenge, a bit of homework. But anyone else you would like to see coming in? Or maybe we could go to the questions in the chat. Get some of those.
Let's get some questions, yeah. Plenty there.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Right. Okay. I will start from the top. Pete was starting to start earlier on. What I want to mention actually, because someone popped it up before, and they just wrote the name, and I just wondered, what your lads' thoughts on it. But there's still been little whispers about Karim Benzema. I mean, has anyone else heard that, or obviously I'm not going to say
That's not
going
to happen.
But no,
somebody else is saying tonight we put in a 15 million bid for Muller with a 2-year deal, takes him up to age 35. That's not going to happen either.
No. Karim Benzema is so important to Real Madrid now. Real Madrid are actually having a decent season, and he's so crucial to them. They would be crazy to get rid of him now. You probably got a better chance of getting Luka Jovic on loan. As an alternative striker, if I'm honest, to tomorrow, than actually getting Karim Benzema.
Yeah. Well, what I'll do is I'll ask everyone these. Any broad ones I'll ask everyone, but other ones I might just directly ask individuals. But lads, do we know, is there any update on Zapata? I mean, I've not seen anything today, but
I think it was just this one. It was apparently an 8 million loan bid for till the rest of the end of the season. Then with the 35 million at the end of the season, if we were to stay up and obviously make it permanent.
Cool. Right. Very good, mate. I'm going to ask Adam this one. So Dan Brown asks, do you still think that we're going to go back in for Diego Carlos tomorrow?
No. I think the Diego Carlos case is going to go cold now, partly because of his age. I just think that we knew that this was the opportune time for Sevilla to sell him. They're not going to get the kind of money we've offered for him in the summer, no doubt about it, because of his age. And unless they win La Liga, they're going to have to sell him. So I think Newcastle were using him as a placeholder, almost as a bit of a leveraging tool for the Sven Botman transfer. It just didn't sort of work out in the end, and no blame to the owners. But I think that is a case that will go pretty cold now. The only way they would go back in for him is if someone else does, for the reasons that I mentioned earlier. It won't look good if he goes and signs for somebody else. But no, I think that case is cold. I just want to make a point about the link you just showed, though. The source of that link for the Zapata loan. The reason that I know that is not true is that is the same website that about 6 weeks ago referenced a picture that I put on Twitter to say that I had helped build the new fitness center at St. James's Park. So
Well done, Adam. Well done,
mate. Thought you looked tired. Impressive work, mate.
Yeah, I managed to do it in about 20 minutes. I posted a picture of Eddie Howe's new warm-up room next to the dressing room. And that same website said that I built it. So that's how I know.
Breaking news. Man from America helps build training room. You heard it here first.
Yeah,
definitely.
I always try and break news when I come on the show.
I who breaks wind.
I don't think the Carlos one is a mover for tomorrow. Just not enough time to get that one done, I don't think.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, mate. David Shepard asks, and this one's going to Pete. I know how Pete feels about this player, but Pete, would you be happy if Dean Henderson came tomorrow?
Yes, I would. Dean Henderson is the best goalkeeper English goalkeeper in this country right now. There's no doubt about it, in my opinion. I've watched Dean Henderson for a long time. One of my really good friends is a long-time Sheffield United fan. I've been to a lot of games with him at times and watched them play. I've watched Dean Henderson at Sheffield United play, particularly in that season when they finished. I think they finished in the top 8 or 9 in the Premier League on their first season back in the Premier League, and he was the big reason why. He was when he gets regular football, he is a fantastic goalkeeper. And me and you have talked about this before, Chris, about Dubravka, and we've kind of flip-flopped a little bit to, he's a fantastic goalkeeper. We need him. He's been great for us, blah, 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 blah. And then we talk about, well, he's 30, he's 32, 33. He's moving on. Do we need to look forward? Do we need to transition him out? I think what needs to happen now is that every player in this team, particularly the ones that have been guaranteed football every week, and those players that think that they can just walk straight into the team, need to be challenged. So I'm talking about Callum Wilson. And you can see Callum Wilson got his back up as soon as Chris Wood came in, because he put that little statement out to say when he comes back, he's going to show that he's still the main man.
Yeah.
And Alan St-Maximin, more so than anyone, needs to be pushed. And I think if Jesse Lingard comes in, I think that pushes him, because I think, if Ryan Fraser keeps putting his performances in and Alan St-Maximin doesn't work as hard as he should, there's a question mark that Lingard will start ahead of him. I think the other one is Martin Dubravka. He's the best goalkeeper at the club, hands down, right now. But I think the best players need to be pushed in order to put better performances in. And I think Dean Henderson will certainly do that. I think Dean Henderson comes in. If he comes in, he becomes the number one instantly. And you will see a fantastic goalkeeper. And it will only strengthen his staying in the Premier League, in my opinion.
I think that Henderson link's gone quiet, I think, because there's still a push for Lingard. And you can't have two loans.
Not less than
perfect deal. Yeah, exactly. The other, what was the other thing I was going to say? Sorry, I was going to say something else there. I've lost my train of thought. What was it? Who were you mentioning there, Pete? There was somebody else that you mentioned there.
So I was talk about the players that need to be pushed. So I said,
ASM. What I was going to say about the ASM thing is, as of the announcement of the Bruno deal, ASM's not the top man in the club anymore.
No,
he's not the superstar anymore. That mantle's gone as of now. Bruno is the star man at the club.
What did you think of ASM's comments about the Ballon d'Or?
Yeah,
that was an odd thing to say, wasn't it?
I think it was probably twofold. I think it was probably a bit of a piss take. But then on the other hand, if you're looking for a player to say I want to win it, I've no harm. I've no issue with a player coming out and saying, I want to win something like that at the club I'm at. But listen, we've spoke about ASM. I've made my feelings quite well known about ASM so far this season. I've said on multiple shows he hasn't delivered regularly enough. He doesn't produce the last third, and I still stand by that. So I think if anybody coming in, maybe Lingard, but I think Bruno coming in. If I was ASM now, I'd be looking at that and going, I was the top dog, and I need to up my game massively to keep that mantle, because this lad's coming in here now. He could show me up big time here.
Yeah, no, good point, mate. Good point. Sorry, Daz, go on, mate.
Yeah, two things I wanted to mention. One is Dave Shepherd. Thanks for not asking about Rafa, because I don't know what Pete would have done if you did that, like last time. But the other thing is,
Dave Shepherd, I like you.
Yes, that's another reminder. Yes, about nearly 600 people.
There's nearly 600 watching live.
And as well as that, lads, we've had over 30 new subscribers whilst we've been on the show.
That's brilliant.
So massive appreciation.
Let's convert more. 600 there. We can get more than 30 subs tonight.
Yeah,
we're
subs. Less than 90 away from hitting the 2,500 mark for subscribers. Wow. So if you haven't already and you're new to the chat and you haven't subscribed yet, just click that button, guys, and girls. Let's get to that.
It's free. It costs you nothing to hit it, and it helps us out massively.
And of course, Sean Casey, who will be on with us tomorrow, he has promised us, and he makes a lot of promises, but he promises 3K by transfer deadline. So that's he's got a lot to work with there.
Big day tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know, lads. I've just put in our private chat that Sean's actually just put a tweet out in the last hour or so, regards to someone that Martin has just talked about 10 minutes ago, and that's Connor Cody. He would not be surprised if a bid is made.
Interesting.
Yeah, very.
I think we'd all be happy. Well, would we? I'd be happy with Connor Cody.
Yeah.
Happy?
Yeah, that's all right.
Everyone happy? Yeah. Across the board.
What would we know on this show, lads?
I'm gonna keep flying through these questions.
Go for it, Chris.
So I'm gonna give the next one to Nath. So Nath, Ash Hannant asks, who do you think will partner Bain in the centre of defence? Do you think Bain will walk straight in?
I think so. Yeah, I think he'll probably take up that left centre back position. There's a lot of talk of Bain being more familiar with playing in a 3, but I think he can do I'm sure he can do the job in a 2 as well. I think perhaps from what we've got, if we're moving forward with the squad as it is currently, I think you'd be looking at Shah to play alongside him, two centre halves who can both play out from the back, both good with the ball at the feet, and that'd open up so many opportunities for us in terms of moving that ball into midfield and onto Bruno and beyond. I think but then that leaves the problem with the captain, doesn't it? And what we do, like, does he just pull the trigger on Lascelles? If we sign another centre back, you would expect him to, maybe, or would you? I don't know. Like, is that going to be too much of a kind of ruction in the middle of a season where we're second from bottom? So yeah, I'd say probably Sharp, given that he's a left-footed centre back and he'll probably play on that left side. But then it's kind of a weird one as well, because I'm of the belief that Fernandes is our best centre half at the club. So then, but that left-sided position is usually Fernandes's, right? So can Fernandes step across to the other side in the interim, or is it going to be Shah if we're looking for a more kind of ball-playing option, or does Dan Burn take away that need for a ball-playing centre half because he does it himself? I'm not sure. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. What are all your guys' thoughts on, like, what happens to Lascelles if we don't sign another centre half? What do you think will happen?
I think if it's forward the back, that it'll be Shar and Byrne. Trippier take the armband, or Shelby.
Yeah.
So do you think
Lascelles' days are numbered?
Or what do you think? How will they handle it? It'll be interesting, won't it, to see?
Well, not remove it from like he could be on the bench. He could still be the official club captain, but not actually be playing. Guaranteed a start, let's say.
Well, that's the best way to change your captain without officially taking it off him. And to do that mid-season would be a mistake anyway. So the easiest way to do it is to just not play him. And then that way you've got to pick a captain on the pitch.
But would it? Would it be a mistake to change it?
I don't know, because it...
Listen, don't get me wrong, and I know there'll be people jumping all over going, Lascelles has done loads, he's been there since whenever, we did whatever. And listen, I'm not trying to cause a pile onto the guy, right? I get what he's done for the club, but I keep saying the same thing. We're in a battle, bottom 3, we need to drive on. He's no urgency in him at all as a captain. He's none. Trippier pulled ASM back up the tunnel after the cup game when we got knocked out. The boys were heading down the tunnel. Trippier called them back. Where was Lascelles? Where's Lascelles when we're getting the decisions against us? If you're a captain, you need to be 100% into it. You need to be pulling and dragging plays. You need to be driving them on. You need to be ruffling feathers and pulling up socks when you need to. He doesn't deliver that. He doesn't deliver it. So for me, I don't see any mistake in changing captaincy. And if it pisses him off, then, hey, do you know what? Sometimes you've got to take change on the chin. I would be giving it to Trippier as soon as I could, and I would give it to a leader.
See, the thing for me, Mart, at the end of the season, I'd definitely be naming a new captain. For now, I think the easiest and less impact of the decision is to just not play him. If you don't play him, you've got to give the captaincy to someone on the pitch. Whereas if you strip it off him halfway through the season, you know, it might cause a bit of a mess, because apparently there's a lot of players who, you know, kind of see Lascelles as the main man. So if he was to be embarrassed,
some of those players aren't going to be there after the summer.
Oh, true, yeah. So in the summer, take it off him.
Yeah, midway through a season, the club is bigger than the player.
Yeah,
but I think
the survival of the club is bigger than any one player.
We're in a position where you don't want to like piss everyone off though, and then be a case of, oh well, fuck this club then, and then like nobody like pulls together and we don't get out of this mess that we're in currently, because you know it's very difficult, isn't it? It's a very like tentative situation. But I think for me, if we signed another centre half tomorrow, it'd be criminal not to play whoever that is and Dan Burn. Surely Lascelles would. But I think we've been saying this for like the last 2 years, haven't we, guys? Like that we're in a problem where we've got like our third choice, probably centre half, is our captain for some reason, because just the way that he's developed or not developed over the last couple of years, the way that he's fallen off. So we're in a predicament of our own making, I think.
Yeah. Adam, I know you've got to go, mate, and listen, thank you so much for coming on, but I'm going to give the last question to you, okay? And it's a very quick one. Do you think there'll be any more surprises before the window shuts?
I do, actually. And I've tweeted this a little bit over the last couple of days. I don't know if it will be a massive Newcastle surprise, but I think there is one really surprising transfer out there tomorrow. I really hope it's a Newcastle one, because that would be great for all of us, obviously. But it feels like in this transfer window, there have been so many rumors. Really, I mean, more rumors than transfers, right? As there always is in the January transfer window. But I just think like there's going to be one really surprising transfer tomorrow. And with being 6 hours behind you guys, I feel like I'm going to wake up tomorrow and be like, holy shit, this is happening. So yeah, I think there is going to be one wacky one tomorrow. I got my fingers crossed that it's Newcastle. I would love it to be Sven Botman. But yeah, there'll be a really weird one tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to dash because it's actually my son's birthday party starts in like 20 minutes. So I'm going to run. But it's fantastic catching up with everybody. I'm really looking forward to talking to you all again soon. Enjoy tomorrow, and then hopefully we'll get a little bit of a break before Everton in a week's time. Cheers, lads.
Cheers for joining us, Adam.
See you again, Adam.
See you soon.
Have a good birthday party.
Take care.
Great to have Adam on. Boys, this is a bit of news I wasn't aware of. So it looks like is that right? Does it look like
he's apparently got the Bournemouth on loan.
It was on the breaking news. I put up Chris while you were looking for the goal.
Yeah,
he was meant to go there. He was meant to go there in the summer,
Yeah, he was.
That's right, he
He'd
was.
actually had his medical at Bournemouth, and then we had to call him back last minute because Dubravka got injured. So it makes sense that he goes there because he's going to play football. He'll be part of the team that will probably end up getting promoted anyway. So it's a great experience for him, and that might even lead him into actually playing some Premier League football next season. So I think it's a great move for him.
Yeah, I agree, mate. Interesting question here from Jeff. Jeff says, "What about Botman and Lille OFC stock market issues?" I've got to admit, I don't know much about that. Can any of you lads expand on that?
Are Lille in the floated on the stock exchange? It was Leon were.
Well, Lille are skint, are they not?
Yeah,
I think that's why they're doing the fire sale, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know they were thinking of delaying the Guimarães announcement because of Leon being publicly traded, but I don't know about. I'm not sure if Lille are or not. No idea.
Don't know. We'll find out, Jeff.
You can check that out and come back.
Yeah, no, definitely. Daz, I don't know whether we were touching on this tomorrow, mate, but I had a feeling it was today as well. But Mike Gent has asked, who are the players we need to get rid of? Have any transfer values? I don't think teams will buy them.
There's only the one, isn't it? Hendrik de Boer.
He's the only one.
He's the one that's doing the rounds tonight, but there's nothing for anybody else.
No,
not yet.
I think if
that's
we get
where
a striker in,
not yet. You could see some go tomorrow. Yeah,
Gale will go.
Yeah,
I think
that's the challenge I set you guys, but it'll probably take a while to talk about it. So we can spend 20 minutes talking about it now. I don't mind. Or do you want to come back to the question?
We might. I was going to say, Daz. To be fair, we might be able to touch on it tomorrow because we've got 4.5 hours.
To be fair, you might have an idea about how many actual incomes we've got, so we need to know how many people we can kick out.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. It's true.
So as I said yesterday, this is the list of the 25-man squad. So we need to find some gaps there. I've started to do that already. So So I'll answer the question quickly, and we can all give our opinion tomorrow. How about that? So we at least we answer the question. So we've got 4 coming in. We know, and in red I've earmarked 5. This is my opinion. 5 that we could get rid of. Jeff Hendrick being 1, Kieran Clark, Mark Gillespie, and Dwight Gale, especially if we get another striker in. I also identified Emil Kraft because I was thought that we've got Trippier there now, and Makio can fill in there as well. So he'd be an option if we could get rid of him some way. Then in the kind of darker green, I have identified as if we brought in loads of players, then I'd consider offers for a few of these, let's say. But yeah, we need them as well as backups and subs and injuries and stuff like that. But so that was just my initial thought. We can talk about it more when we
when we're doing a marathon tomorrow.
And just exactly. And someone asked yesterday, and we never got to. I never answered them. Why is Joe Willock not underlined? It's because when I grabbed this, they were all hyperlinks, so there was no hyperlink for Joe Willock. I think so. That's the reason why there's no underline under his name. Back to you, Chris.
Yeah, mate. I'm still looking for questions, but I just wanted to give Tommy Thomas Wilson a big shout out. So thank you very much, Tommy Thomas Wilson, for becoming a member. We really appreciate it, mate. Thank you so much.
Chris, just a quick one there. So
go on.
Just looking at Twitter, so apparently Newcastle fans are receiving an email from the club shop, obviously about the discount currently on, and there's 3 pictures of shirts up. On the picture, I'll send it. See, can we get it up? Obviously, with the checkout codes and everything else. Trippier, Wood, and Guimarães, and it looks like Guimarães will have his full name on the shirt of just Guimarães, not Bruno G. So if you have gone out to get your shirt printed with just Bruno G, I would maybe hold off. It could be a mistake from Castor and the club shop and the club, but yeah, certainly the pictures I can see. It is the full name of Guimarães on the shirt and not Bruno G. So just be careful.
Adam Pearson's not going to be happy. That's because I know.
That's what I
know he got the name.
Yeah, just
Bruno G.
Literally, the reason I want to shout that out, just in case anybody is buying shirts or doing anything, and you want the right thing,
hang fire.
Just maybe hold off and hang fire until we see what it actually is.
Just get it posted the way I cross all boxes. Just get let's talk about at the top and say
Let's talk about,
yeah.
What do you think? Anyone might be going out getting a Hendrick or a Woodman shirt?
The club will offer you a refund.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Chris.
And I
that
remember
was interesting.
No.
At the start of the season, I remember we were laughing at the chap who got Joe Linton 9 on the back of his jersey, and then he I think he got a change to
he did, yeah,
7, obviously, but he was ahead of the game, so he saw something that none of the rest of us saw.
He knew, didn't he?
There's the season so far.
Yeah. We've got a question here from Paul Gallant, and this name's gone awfully quiet of late. Has anyone heard anything about Ramsey? Just flashed up on my mobile. And to be fair, his name's gone really quiet, hasn't it, over the last week or so? So have any of you lads heard anything about that?
I heard a bit of Sky Sports that Juventus are still trying to flog him, and he could end up anywhere tomorrow, but not Burnley.
Yeah. Just the same as what Daz is. It's mainly just obviously they want to get him off the books. That he's costing a fortune. He hasn't got anything to play there the rest of the season. But to be fair, it's with a loan deal, so I think that could be one that happens late on wherever he goes. So
yeah, boys, another member, Billy James. Thank you very much, Billy.
Really
appreciate
it, draw.
Into the exclusive draw.
Yeah, Billy is.
I know. We do love a little bit of train and plane spotting, but Ian Syntax Errors just tweeted out: private jet just landed into Newcastle Airport from Hamburg, literally in the last 5 minutes.
Hamburg.
Who do we know in Hamburg?
Would that be Zapata at all?
No, he's from Italy, I think.
No, that would be Italy.
Yeah,
that could be the only thing that we've been linked with the last couple of days. Who's from Germany with Jerry St. Just possibly? I don't know where. I don't know where Mans are based. Are they close to Hamburg? I don't know.
Not sure at all.
No, I would take him though. I think he looks like a talent. Certainly better than what we've already got. So
yeah. Absolutely. But you know what? We say that throughout the winter that we're better than what we've got. Because to be fair, there's probably not a lot that isn't better than what we've got, really.
We've got so much shit.
Someday we won't be able to say that.
We've got so much shit that we need to get rid of.
Absolutely.
We're suffering from the last five years of not transitioning the squad, as Daz has put on. There's so many in that squad that need to go. So you've got the ones in the red, but you've also got the ones in the green. There's a chunk of those ones in the green that you probably want to move on as well. And you think we move those ones in the red and green with players that the new owners want to sign, and you put them in, and you put the new players in with the type of caliber of Bruno Guimarães and one or two others, then you've got a squad that is not going to be fighting relegation any longer. It's as simple as that.
So true. I'm gonna give this next one to Richie because I think Richie will enjoy answering this one.
Then.
So the Mags Gaz said, "Here's one for you guys, Rafinha." Rich, tell us a bit about Rafinha. Have we heard any more?
No, not really. I would say that I think everyone knows that. I think he's one of the best right-sided forwards in the Premier League, and I think he's the perfect foil that we would have on the opposite flank, the ASM, in my opinion. You pretty much look at what Rafinha has done since he's come to the Premier League. I would say, obviously, and when Bamford's been fit last year, but he's probably been the main cog of why Leeds have stayed up in the Premier League since they've got promoted. He's certainly contributed to them not being in the bottom three so far this season. So I think if it wasn't for him, they would definitely be in the bottom three. I would. Go on.
Sorry, Rich, just to interrupt you, mate. One that we didn't even consider, and someone's put in the chat, and the reason the comments haven't been coming up in the chat is because I've been doing the questions. What about this? What about this fella?
Yeah, that's here he is. That's a possibility, isn't it?
What about
that we talked about?
I've just been looking at Germany while we were talking, actually, just to see where Hamburg had to be. Just a bit
Europe.
Of playing spot for Chris's behalf. Yeah, Hamburg is in the north of Germany, whereas Leverkusen, where Mitchell Bakker is the west of Germany. So, unless they've got a training camp in Hamburg or they've been having some pre-season, it could be something like that. I don't know.
Interesting. Interesting.
Just someone coming to Newcastle on holidays.
Could just be, yeah.
Could well be. Well, boys,
All right.
that is the end of the star questions. But obviously, we can still carry on having a gab. I'll keep looking for the questions, but they were all the viewers' questions that we started. And yeah, some really interesting ones in there.
All right. Since I don't have any other question, I'm going to flick it back to Nate again. Anything particular you'd like to talk about, Nate? Anything that we haven't talked about, or anything that's come up in the transfer window, or I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but, or who would you really like to get rid of from the squad? Or
yeah, I was having a look then when you put it up and had a bit of a scribble down of the names, and they were all similar to the ones that you said. I think the issue that we've got is that we've got a lot of these players that have signed contracts whilst they've signed contract extensions whilst they've been with us. A lot of them aren't on the original contract that they joined on, because a lot of them have stayed for a number of years. So I think looking at shipping some of these down to the Championship, it's going to be a case of just taking what we can get for a lot of them, such as Hendrick and the likes of Gale and Hayden. I know that Gale signed the contract. Was it even last year when Gale signed the new contract? We were all quite confused about it, weren't we, at the time? So I think wages are going to be a problem. It's going to be a measure of whether these players are willing to take a pay cut to go and play in the Championship. I can't see any Premier League clubs going in for some of the players that we've highlighted there. So I think it's going to be a challenging one to offload a lot of these players due to the wages and due to the. I think we're in a position, fortunately, where we won't need to command transfer fees for massive transfer fees for them. Not that they'd be worth anything anyway, but yeah, I think it's going to be a measure of the players themselves, whether they want to ultimately drop down and play some football, or they're happy to wait it out for 2 years for the rest of the contract, picking up relatively large salaries every week, which I think they probably may do.
cool. Cheers, Nate. Just again, I'm just going to remind people to hit that red subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner, as we're over 600 people in watching this live. Maybe we should talk about what's coming up, because tomorrow, everybody knows that we have the transfer deadline, and we shall be on air tomorrow. We've talked about it a few different times, but we are going on early, so it will be an early start first. Could be 6, could be 7. We haven't finalized the time yet, but keep an eye out on YouTube for the time, and we'll be tweeting it during the day when we agree that time. But yeah, we're going right through till 11, probably after 11, because you know how some of the deals are used with question marks, and there'll be a lot of activity for Newcastle tomorrow, we hope. And also, if we can, if we have any massive breaking news, we will try to do some kind of a little short video, but we'll see how it depends on availability and everything like that. So let's see how that plays out. We also have coming up potentially on Tuesday, or it may even get pushed to later in the week yet. So that's a moving target as well, as Kieran Maguire is going to join us.
Daz, I think I've just been getting a message off. I think it is going to be a rearranged one for that one. Obviously, he's a bit in demand due to the time of year for him and stuff. So I think that will be a reschedule. Okay,
so yeah, we'll schedule that in. It will be great to have Kieran back. Okay, it's going to be valuable information whenever we have him back on, because it's not going to change that information for us. So that will be good. And also then on Wednesday, completing our marathon will be we're going to have Mark Douglas in with us. So Mark Douglas talk about all the transfers and everything Newcastle related. So that should be good as well. That's Wednesday at 8. So yes, and I should give a shout out to the sponsors too, to Bronwyn and blackandwhitearmy.com. She's a range of merchandise there, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and we should soon be hearing about the new brand that she's going to launch as well when she comes back on with us again, and we'll have her back in again for the members draw. So not only the special draw that Richie has talked about, we'll be having a regular members draw for an item from her range. And we also have our new sponsor, Martin. I always go to you to talk about Cherry Bars, because we haven't had Simon on yet, and we will have him on to tell us all about it, and then we can all be educated together. You tell us exactly,
about it. Yeah. I was talking to Simon yesterday. He's on nights this week, I think starting from tonight. So he is going to drop on either later in the week or early next week. kind of back end of next week or the following week. He's going to come on. But shybands.com, we got them on board as a sponsor. There's a great range of clothing, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, beanies under the brand of Shy Bands. www.shybands.com. Get on there and have a look. Get yourself something. 10% of every sale that Simon and the guys do goes towards mental health aid. So it's something, as we've said before, is close to mine and Richie's heart. And it's, great to have him on board. So hopefully once he gets off nights and he's back in a bit more of a regular pattern, Simon is going to come on. So talking to me yesterday, delighted to come on. And he'll tell us a bit more. And hopefully we'll do a couple of giveaways while he's on as well.
Nice one. Cheers, Martin. So I think we'll wrap it up for the night, unless there's anything anyone wants to say.
The only thing I was gonna add, Daz, Jason Glazier has said Newcastle have been linked with Atletico left back Venon Lodi. Any thoughts? I mean, I've got to admit, don't know much about Lodi, but
Lodi unloaded.
Anybody? Lodi
like
unloaded. Yeah, we like that. Yeah. Any thoughts on him?
Never heard of him.
No, I've seen the link earlier on today. I don't know too much about him, but I know that Atletico Madrid really do rate him. And I think they're banding about sort of a 40 million euros that they want in order to release him. So I was pleasantly surprised by that type of deal, because I know that they really rate him highly, but I haven't seen enough of him to see what he's actually about. But like I say, with the fact that we've already spent a lot of money, I doubt that would be a deal that we'd do in this window anyway. I just wanted to add that there's been 50 new subscribers during the show tonight. So massive thanks to you guys. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button.
Cheers, Pete. I'm going to leave the last question with Nate, because we'll answer this tomorrow ourselves when the transfer window shuts. But Nate, are we going to stay up based on the activity and everything that's gone on? Are we going to stay up?
I think so. Yeah, I think there's been a lot of panic. I've quite enjoyed this transfer window. I think it's been it's just been great to be part of the conversation. It seems like it seems from the outside like a bit of a kind of scattergun approach that we've taken. Like, it seems we've been linked with everyone. But I think that's just the nature of the money that the journalists and agents know is available at our club at the moment. So I think, it's been exciting. I think we've done some really solid business. We've got a good mixture of in Bruno from France, who it's going to be a test for him to do it in the Premiership. He's more than capable of doing it. He's an extremely talented player. He's been looked at by a number of top clubs. I think he'll really make a big difference to our forward line. Like I was saying earlier on, I think he'll hopefully level them up across the board. I think having that experience in the back, the centre back pairing has been a challenge for us all season. You look at them, they get the goals we've conceded. Like balls going into the box, and both of them just looking at each other at times with their arms in there, looking like they're mystified as to how like the ball's got in and who should be marking who and that kind of thing. So I think the addition of Dan Burn is really solid. You look at some of his performances over the season for Brighton, and as Pete was saying, he's been their standout centre back, and they haven't missed Ben White at all. So for me, I think we've got enough in to stay up. I think a few more is always going to help. I think it'll be a close run race. Unfortunately for the area that I live in, I think Burnley will probably drop this season. I think they've gone so far, they've gone so long without funding the team. There's question marks over the acquisition of the club and the debt that it's left in. I believe that the owners haven't been, the old owners haven't been paid in full yet, I believe, as well. So I think a lot of that money from Chris Wood will probably be going towards that. I think despite what you read on social media about people taking the mick saying we paid that much for Chris Wood, a lot of my friends were kind of giving me stick for it, but like they're gutted that he's gone. Like you have to say they are, because you look at, they say, we're looking at like some people from France, we're looking at, but they haven't signed anyone. They haven't signed a forward. So I think we should have enough to get out. I think you'll probably see an upturn in Everton's form as well. So it's just who is going to drop into that bottom three. But for me, yeah, another edition or two tomorrow. I feel like I've been really cheeky asking for this, but yeah, we've never been here before. We've never been in this territory before, have we? So a couple more editions tomorrow, I think we'll be absolutely fine. If we go as we are, I think it'll be a close run race, but yeah, we should do it. I'm confident.
Nice one, Nate. Look, we're going to leave it there. Thanks Nathan for joining us tonight, and thank Adam as well, who was on with us earlier. We're back, as we said, tomorrow for Deadline Day. Everyone that was been with us tonight, come along and join us tomorrow. This is where the party's at, and we'll get those signings over the line tomorrow.
That's just jinxed it. I think the other good thing, we'll have a good bit of time tomorrow night. I'd be interested to have a chat about will Everton get a bit of a bounce with a new manager, Frankie Lampard, going in there?
No.
And Van de Beek. Just be interesting to see. Hopefully not, but let's talk about it anyway.
I know, yeah, because I'd like to talk more about Van de Beek, because apparently Van de Beek knocked back Newcastle, but correct me if I'm wrong, I think current league position, and obviously what's happened to us in the last few months, I'd be very surprised if he knocked us back and went to Everton instead.
I don't think we went for him. Can you not just lean out your window and ask?
Okay, look at
just have to say, lads, before we go, why don't we just give them one last reminder that midnight tonight is the closing deadline for the membership exclusive draw. So get yourself signed up beforehand. Daz will be checking. Daz is staying up until midnight just to make sure.
That's tomorrow night.
No, we'll leave it till the morning anyway. So we'll do a cut off at say 9 a.m. in the morning. Anyone get yourself signed up the membership there to be part of the exclusive draw for the Newcastle United shirt of your choice. And then we'll obviously still gives Daz plenty of time to wind up his broadband and get the wheel up to date. So
I can do it live, Richie, on the show tomorrow. That's no problem for me.
Yeah, but it'll be still spinning at midnight by the time the show's finished.
No.
Less than 70 to get to that 2,500 subscribers. We've just had another load come in. So we're
get yourself signed up. We'll be in it to win a shirt of your choice.
That's it. Well, from what Richie just said, you might as well just wait until the show starts tomorrow, because we keep moving it back. We said by the end of the show tonight, then we said midnight. Now we've got.
Well, we're getting such a good reaction to subs and people watching. Let's get there you go.
Donkey Pigeon.
Donkey.
Well, then Donkey Pigeon.
Let's give him till
great name.
And we can do it live on the show. Yeah,
I'll just say that as well before we go off as well. I've been watching the shows all weekend, and like I said to Martin and Chris, like yesterday and today, like for everyone in the chat as well, these shows have been spot on. I mean, they've been fantastic last couple of weeks and everything. The shows and the numbers and stuff that you're getting now. So yeah, everyone in the chat, give them a subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, it's been great to watch it. You've been on my box all night yesterday and the day before. It's been great content.
You probably won't be saying that after 5 hours tomorrow night, mate.
It's just after a pint. Next time we'll meet him again. I think that we did in November.
He wants to win that shirt. That's what's happening.
Don't buy him no more pints, because he has a tendency to fucking drink him and then ring me all hours of the evening sloshed.
Makes a change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, makes a change. Right.
That's it. Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Good night. Talk soon. Take it easy. Thanks for watching.
See you guys.
Now is the time. A time you'll look back on. A time you adopt as inspiration. You will recollect this time. This moment, right now. Motivate yourself towards success. Overcome. Take over. The time is now.